ओम ज्ञान तिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानांजन शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. Hare Krishna. So I will just take some revision of the structure. Some devotees requested, so that I'll just take few things and then we'll take shlokas today. We will try to memorize this 6th and 7th chapters shlokas along with this. Okay, Monica Mata is asking, can we have the same timing, 8:15 to, that means 8:15 to 9:15, even when Proj is not taking his class, like that, no? Yeah. That's they have now some solid 20 an hour, we have 20 to 25 days. Anyway, this I'll start in the end, we'll take a vote. Now, this Srimad Bhagavatam is concluded by this verse in the end of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, Srila Sudha Goswami says, this Bhagavatam is Vimala Vishokam Amritam. It is spotless, absolutely free from all suffering, helps from free from suffering, Amritam immortal, he glorifies it. But more important is here, this Satyam Param Dhimahi is again used. This is in the 12th canto, last chapter. This verse comes. And same thing, the first shloka is also Satyam Param Dhimahi. Vimalam Vishokam Amritam Satyam Param Dhimahi. So, this is what is very important, that it is all meditation. The word Dhimahi means that a person who meditates attain the supreme truth with his mind. Now, how come absolute truth appear in our heart? That is another question. For that, purity of the heart of preacher, purity of heart of listener, purity of intention, desire to serve the Supreme Lord, not just the desire to enjoy the theme of Srimad Bhagavatam, but we want to serve. It's not that I want to gain something from Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is actually our object of mercy. We want to go to Bhagavatam to get mercy of Bhagavatam. And then we have the 4 fundamental characteristics of Supreme Truth, which makes it completely incomprehensible, that we discussed. Sarvatita, Sarvashraya, Sarvachintya, Sarva Achintya, Sarva Ashcharya Swabhava. Atita means it is beyond sense perception, Krishna. Ashraya means it is a shelter of everything. Achintya means inconceivable. And then Ashcharya Swabhava is absolutely amazing. So these are the 4 fundamental characteristics of Supreme Absolute Truth. That is the reason we need to follow a certain process, and the Absolute Truth will reveal itself. We cannot gain access for it. There is no possibility. And then Srimad Bhagavatam is also a natural commentary on Brahma Sutra. And then there is also Gayatri Mantra that is mentioned here. And we have seen how different sampradayas, there are sub-books for understanding the absolute truth. They emphasize on certain books. Ramanujacharya Sampradaya, they emphasize Vedanta Sutra, Upanishad, Ramayana, and Divya Prabandha. Madhu Sampradaya, Mahabharata, and Bhagavad Gita. Ramanandi Sampradaya, Ramcharitmanas, and Vallabha Sampradaya and Gaudiya Sampradaya, we have Srimad Bhagavatam. Even Madhvacharya says Srimad Bhagavatam is an explanation of the meaning of Mahabharata. That means the essence of Mahabharata you can understand by Bhagavatam. And also Srimad Bhagavatam is a natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra. This again we will discuss in the end, how it is a natural commentary. And then there are 3 languages of Srimad Bhagavatam. The most prominent language is Samadhi Bhasha. Samadhi Bhasha basically means that Sudhir Goswami is speaking when he is in trance. That is the important thing. So Vyasdev is describing trance. We have seen that shloka, how he was samyak pranite amalai apashyam purusham purnam mayam chadapasha. He was in trance and he could see Krishna and Maya and all the living entities, everything. And in the trance, he describes, and when the when Sukadeva Goswami is reciting, he was also in complete trance. So Samadhi Bhasha, that the narrator is in trance, also hearer also is in trance. This is another important understanding. And then we have discussed there are three types of vritti. Kika Bhasha and Anya Bhasha. Whenever he is not in trance, he comes to a normal state and talks in a normal language or in a general language like that. But there is another important thing is called vritti, Abhida vritti, Lakshana vritti, Yogaruda vritti, and Vanjana vritti. And Bhagavatam is written in Vanjana vritti. This is important. Abhida vritti is literal meaning, the direct meaning, dictionary meaning. If you say something, you mean it. Lakshana vritti means you are indicating something. That is Gangayam Gosha, that example is given. That means you are indicating that this bank is Gangayam means it's on river. It's an on river means it's on the bank of river. It is you are indicating like that. It is not that how can village be on water. It's an indication. And then we have yoga roda vrittis like you have everyday uses. Then like example is your pankaja. Pankaja means that comes from the mud. From mud many things comes, but basically most of means in general pankaja implies lotus only. Even though many things come from mud, but we use it to indicate lotus. Anganavati is actually implied meaning. Implied meaning is it is indicating something. You are saying something. So especially this happens in love. So they say like the child says and is upset with mother. No, I'm not hungry. So in saying I'm not hungry, he is telling I am hungry for love. So mother should come and no. She should not take direct me with the TV. So he's not hungry. Okay, let it be not feeding. No, no, no. If I is saying I am not hungry means that mother should go make him take him on his lap and make him sit and with her own hands she should feed. So that is actually indirectly indicating something. So that is happens in love. So Krishna likes to be glorified. Parokshavadan, Priya. So Gangayam Gosha, indirect meaning the same word can be taken that this village is so pure like Ganj. The people of this village are so pure like Ganges. So this is also indicating like that. So we can imply that mean. And then we have so these are the so most of the Bhagavad, especially 10th canto, is in this. This is actually, if you say directly, it is not much glorification. If you want to really glorify, you should tell indirectly. That is very nice glorification. That's what it is. Poetry and all. And 10th canto is full of this. When gopis are this Gopi Gita and so many other shlokas will be there in 10th canto, where Krishna is they are saying something but they mean something like that. And then we have 8 progressively more complex and more complete conception of absolute truth. So many people have so many misconceptions of what is truth. But it is impossible to establish the final concept of absolute truth until we overcome these obstacles that are in everyone's heart. All these things are there for a samshaya. There are different understanding of absolute truth. First is samshaya means whether it is really there or not. None of us saw. At least some of us did not see the absolute truth. So then whether it is there or not, so that samshaya is there. And then Nastika means it does not exist only. And Nirguna means impersonal. And there are certain pastimes that are given in Bhagavatam which will help us to eradicate this tendency in us. Some traces will be there. Kliba is middle sex important. Purusha means energy. Lord is having form but no energies. Purusha having energies. So, like no, in Abrahamic religions, they say Lord is there, but maybe not so powerful. Because why there is so much evil? They are not able to understand. So this understanding, na, Purusha form is there, but no energies. But Purusha with energies, and with means Lord not alone, Lakshmi and Narayana. It is energy together. Here is controlling energies, but it is here Leela Shakti, Lord with Lakshmi and Parakya is indirect relation. Lord indirectly relating with his energies, especially internal energies. He's indirectly relating to Radharani, indirectly relating. They're all his energies only, all the gopis and all, but he's indirectly relating. That gives the highest pleasure. So all these seeds of misunderstandings will be eradicated because it's not so easy to understand supreme absolute truth. It may look okay, we know Krishna and all, but it is not actually so simple like that. Then the example is given of Raghupat Upadhyay. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, "What did you write?" He said, "Oh." Then he tells two very famous shlokas. First, he says that, Are, I don't worship all these Vedas, scriptures. I don't follow any of these things. I don't worship any of these big things. I only worship Nanda Maharaj, in whose courtyard the absolute truth is playing. I want to know the secret from him. How could he manage to get absolute truth at his courtyard? And the absolute truth is playing in front of his house. That so Chaitanya becomes very happy. He said, "Yes, you have understood." So then he says, "Okay, tell me more." And Raghupada says that how can I tell to people that the absolute truth is uh, hiding in the bushes of Vrindavan, hunting for the gopis and especially towards Radharani. And who will believe this is what absolute truth is doing? And whom can I tell this? So it is not so easy that no, if you go and tell anybody what is the absolute truth, you know, Vishokam, Achin, Sarvatita, Sarvashraya, Sarvachinta. So then what is the absolute truth? He say, yeah, he's a boy in Vrindavan. It's a village, small village, and he's hunting for the gopis. This is what he's doing. So who will believe it? So difficult. And then another important uh, aspect of Bhagavatam is aprakrita vachana. Krishna himself is trying to manifest the aprakrita vachana, sound vibration that has nothing to do with matter. That is where Krishna is manifesting. So it is important not to fall prey to the primitive descriptions and explanations of Srimad Bhagavatam. That means we need to go deeper and deeper to understand Bhagavatam. That's why we are hearing the commentaries of Acharya so that we get a very deep level of understanding of Bhagavatam. Literal meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam verses will not help us to understand to get this transcendental literature. Many people, kathakars and all, they just explain some shlokas and they go on with the stories, but they don't go deeper into aspects what is Narguni exactly is trying to convey and all. They may make 2-3 points, but they don't try to understand or explain deeply. And then another important point, we cannot understand Srimad Bhagavatam on our own because but Srimad Bhagavatam can reveal itself to us if we see if it sees our sincerity. And then we have discussed this how Srimad Bhagavatam is understood in different ways depending on the modes of material nature. There is Tamoguna reading, where one by one verse is read for years and years, and then people have forgotten what is happening, what is in the middle, what is in the beginning, and this is they forgot the plot also and the sequence, the connections, everything is forgotten. This is Tamoguna reading. And Rajoguna reading is Bhagavad Sapta, 7 day, everything finished. Sattva is actually what we are trying to do now, is trying to understand Bhagavatam in few months. Of course, few months will complete one chapter, but that is good. At least we are getting proper structure and all because our memory is less. That's why Otherwise, everyday hearing is very, very important, Bhagavatam. Otherwise, it is very uh, difficult to. That is actually proof of seriousness. Life is very short. Very, we don't have much time actually. So much is there to understand and apply and practice. We have to fight with our so many anarthas, which drag us every time we try to go up. They pull us so badly, and we fail many times. We have to struggle, and only one thing is we should not give up hope that because this is the only process, there is no other way. But what we can do thing is we have to every day in touch with Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam will protect, it will help, it will give us that strength to overcome anarthas. One day Bhagavatam will show mercy. We have to do, that's a regular sadhana. To understand something, yeah, we need to have at least a transparent experience of what is being said. And so Prabhuji was telling na pratyaksha. So beyond our experience, we need to listen because we don't have pratyaksha now. So to understand something that is beyond our, we need to listen to someone who has this experience. So somebody is having pratyaksha, we hear from him. That becomes shabda for us. But he is saying it and he is explaining. And that's why we have to hear from Prabhupada and Acharyas. Srimad Bhagavata is the result of Anubhava. It's another important point where Sundar Goswami explains. Is the direct experience Sukadeva Goswami which indicates the method of understanding Srimad Bhagavatam. So it was first, Sukadeva Goswami was the first to reveal this secret knowledge in order to show its boundless mercy to the bewildered materialistic who want to overcome ignorance. So this is the purpose of his writing actually. And now this is about Vedanta Sutra we were telling. So yeah, we still have time. Actually, not many shlokas are there. That's why I thought I'll just do this recap and then I'll take shloka. Oh, actually about Vedanta Sutra, some more is there. Only few it is few points I wrote. Other points I'll explain. So Sripad Shankaracharya deliberately did not touch Srimad Bhagavatam, for he know it will be difficult for him to compete with this natural commentary, because the things are so clear, so obvious. Shankaracharya did not want to take risk because he has to speculate too much to overcome what Bhagavatam is saying. Because other Upanishads and all, what happens is there are very small in number. You can speculate. Even Bhagavad Gita also he could manage because there are few shlokas which are there. That's why Narada Muni was telling to Vyasa, Array, people can happily speculate and change. You write something where people cannot do anything with it. And even Shankaracharya could not do anything with Srimad Bhagavatam because Bhagavatam is so obvious. So he wrote his Sharik Bhasha and his so-called follower rejected Bhagavatam as supposedly new work. Such propaganda of the Mayavadi schools against Bhagavatam should not confuse us. And now in the Bhagavatam, so only transcendental literature intended for Paramahamsas. This is very important also. We understand. Tadvag visargo janatag viplo ismin pratishokamavadyavat namanantasya shomkila shinvanti kayanti grananti sadhavaha. So they are sadhus, Paramahamsas. And even in the beginning we have Nigama Kalpataro Galitam Phalam Sukumukatam Vibata Bhagavatam Rasamale Muhurahu Rasika Bhavika. So they are Rasikas. So they are the people like that. So Bhagavatam is beyond the understanding of the envious Mayavadis. But those who really want to escape from the material world, they take refuge of it. And then we have how Srimad Bhagavatam is the Swarupa Grantha Avatara. as explained in Padma Purana. The first two cantos, lotus feet, third, fourth are thighs, fifth is belly, sixth is beautiful shoulders, seventh is eighth are the is mighty arms, ninth is neck, and 10th is the smiling face, 11th is the forehead, and 12th is the crown. So this is Bhagavad Swarup, directly Krishna. And then we have 10 topics. So just I will want to briefly say about what is first canto also. We already did, we are doing seventh, and there we are doing fifth Vishnachakra Thakur. So this is till sixth and till seventh half we can say. So first three chapters are the questions by the sages and answers by Sutta Goswami. He completes answering their questions. Actually, in one way, all the questions are answered only, because the six questions, the last answer, last was Bhagavatam. This is what, where did Dharma took shelter? This is Bhagavatam. Then they ask another set of questions. They say, how did Bhagavatam appear? Who wrote? What circumstances? When it was heard? And all these things. Then he tells about how the Bhagavatam appeared. For that he explains Narada Muni and Vyasa Maharshi story. So that is the second storyline, the second prakarana. And then when he explains under what circumstances Vyasa Maharshi wrote, because he was so despondent in spite of doing such a huge task, Narada Muni instructed him to write Bhagavatam, exclusive glorification of Krishna. And then he writes. Now then they ask him, okay, we want to know about Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj is such a great king, and he was a shelter for so many other people. Why did he leave his body? So like that they have questions, and then he starts answering about story about Parikshit Maharaj. Before that he glorifies Sukadeva Goswami, who is a speaker for few shlokas, like that. And from 7th onwards it goes on till 19th. It's all about Parikshit Maharaj only, directly and indirectly. Why? Because it is telling under what family Parikshit Maharaj came. So greatness of their family is explained before telling him, like one devotee, not devotee actually. I had some contacts saved, and then one person kept a status. So what was his status is to glorify a politician. It is just status, few seconds. So how did he kept that? What was there in that video in the status only? Is glorifying a politician, but to glorify him, he was showing his grandfather, great grandfather, grandmother, grandfather, father, and all these people, and then he showing this person. So that means you will say, see, such a big lineage is coming. So how great this person is. Similarly, Parikshit Maharaj also it is explained how, what a great lineage is. Of course, two things are there. One is how they all left, so that he came into picture. That is also so about birth is explained. And other great personalities from Kunti, Bhishma, and even Dhritarashtra is also explained in one way, because he also perfected to some extent, we can say. And then about Pandavas and when Krishna is living. So in between there are two chapters, 10th and 11th, which are little bit off in one way, because it is some say Sutta Goswami got carried away. Krishna leaving Hastinapur and Krishna entering into Dwarka. There are two, but even that chapters also tells every chapter have prayers. One is prayers by the queens of women of Hastinapur and queens of Dwarka. So in that also how these people are also responding to Krishna. So that is also explained. So then the 10 topics which we should always remember: Atra Sarga Visargasya Sthanam Poshamaka Manvantri Ishankatam Nirodham Tirashyan Dasamasya Vishuthanam Navanam Lakshanam Varnayanti Mahatmanam Shrutena Arthena Chandasa. Shrutena is by prayers, Arthena is the past tense. Like. So basically all these topics are explaining the 10th topic, Ashraya. Ashraya is incomprehensible. That's why we were telling, no? The absolute truth is incomprehensible. It is inconceivable. Sarvashraya, Sarvachidya, Sarvacharya, all these things. Now, but how about Taittiriya Upanishad says what is Ashraya? The definition of Ashraya is Eto vai imani bhutani jayante. So Eto vai imani bhutani jayante means Yata ena ismin. So Ashraya should have three main functions. This is what the shloka is telling. Yata is a function of creation. Everything is coming from the absolute truth. Yena means, sorry, this ashraya means everything comes from ashraya. Then only it is called ashraya. The sower should be that object. Generally, ashraya means people think who gives shelter. So that is the second part. On which it rests, the resting place is also the absolute, the ashraya only. But the source is also ashraya. That is coming from it, it is ashraya. And yes, yena and yasmin means after destruction everything goes into the ashraya. So these are the three functions of, and this is the definition of ashraya. Ito imani bhutani jayante jivanti yat prayatna. So like that, and then Srimad Bhagavatam shows us the source of everything, the cause of that sustaining basis of everything, and what is Adhisthana, the foundation of everything, through these 9 topics. So these are, yeah, there is one more important point. The vision of absolute truth will only be reflected of our consciousness. Now there are 3 ways in which they describe the absolute truth. So 2 ways, sorry. Shrutena is direct place and Arthena is connected places. And then the 10 topics which are discussed 2-3 times. So I will send you the notes. I'll just read so that you'll be able to remember. So first is Sarga creation. So and I'm telling only the topics. There is one more discussion on how these 10 topics are indicating, because Dashamasha Vishuddhara Navana Mihalakshanam. That is the main point. So all this Navana Mihalakshanam means all these 9 are indicating that absolute. That's all. So how each topic which Bhagavatam is described, Bhagavatam has 10 topics, Sarga, how it indicates absolute truth. Of course, only one point I have mentioned here. The refuge is outside Sarga. This is the understanding. But there is another discussion. And so first point is creation, and then there is secondary creation by Lord Brahma. The 3 purpose secondary creation for enjoyment, for achieve liberation, to practice devotional service. Sthanam is, these are metaphysical boundaries, and then we have Poshanam, maintenance. Uti means the creative impetus. Any activity we need impetus, that is karma vasana. And Manvantarani is basically the legislator, the rules and regulations that are given in this world. If somebody follows them, then they will develop a taste to hear the Ishanukata. And then we have Nirodha, it's the means the cessation, the reason why an activity or creation ceases to exist. And Mukti Hitva Neta Rupam Rupena Vyavasthita. He is going back to God. And then which canto indicates his 3rd canto is Sarga, 4th is Sarga, 5th is Sthanam, 6th is Potnam, 7th is Uti, 8th Manvantara, 9th Ishvara, and 11th, 12th is Nirodha and Mukti. And then Jiva Goswami says how all these 10 tips are included in all cantos. So example of 7th canto, it's story of Hiranyakashipu and Nrsimhadev. His appearance in this world, where he appeared is that Sthanam, and he Poshnam, he maintained Prahalad, and then there is Nirodha, he destroyed Hiranyakashipu. And then like that, if you see other Mukti also, this fellow Hiranyakashipu, he got, and then there is Uti, how he acted based on his impetus, like that. So, and Ishan Katha is anyway there. because it is story of Lord. And so the main theme is one, and it is Ashraya. So Bhagavatam is this. So I will just take the shlokas. So we have completed fifth, so we'll take the sixth one. You can unmute yourself and you can chant. नामान्यनन्तस्य हतत्र पठन्
नामान्यन्त्रस्य हतत्र पठन्
गुह्यानि sorry 3 times
नामान्यनन्तस्य हतत्र पठन् नामान्यनन्तस्य हतत्र पठन्
गुह्यानि भद्राणि कृतानि च स्मरन्
गुह्यानि भद्राणि कृतानि च स्मरन् गुह्यानि भद्राणि
कृतानि च स्मरन्
गुह्यानि भद्राणि कृतानि
च स्मरन्
नामान्यनन्तस्य हतत्र पठन् गुह्यानि भद्राणि कृतानि च स्मरन्
नामान्यनन्तस्य हतत्र पठन् गुह्यानि भद्राणि कृतानि च स्मरन् नामान्यनन्तस्य हतत्र पठन् गुह्यानि भद्राणि कृतानि च
स्मरन्
नामान्यनन्तस्य हतत्र पठन् गुह्यानि भद्राणि
कृतानि च स्मरन्
गां पर्यटं तुष्टमनागतस्पृहा
गां पर्यटं
पर्यटं तुष्टमनागतस्पृहा
गां
पर्यटं स्पृहा
कालं प्रतीक्षन् विमदो विमत्सरः
कालं प्रतीक्षं विमदो विमत्सरः
कालं
प्रतीक्षं विमदो विमत्सरः कालं
प्रतीक्षं
विमदो विमत्सरः
गां पर्यटं तुष्टमनागतस्पृहा कालं प्रतीक्षन् विमदो विमत्सरः
तुष्टमनः कृतस्पृहा कालं प्रतीक्षन् विमदो विमत्सरः गां पर्यटं स्वमनः कृतस्पृहा कालं प्रतीक्षान् विमदो विमत्सरः
नामानन्तस्य हतत्र पठन् गुह्यानि भद्राणि कृतानि च स्मरन् गां पर्यटं तुष्टमनागतस्पृहा कालं परीक्षन् विमदो विमत्सरा
नामान्यनन्तस्य पठन्
गुह्यानि भद्राणि कृतानि च स्मरन् कामं पर्यन्तुष्टमनागतस्पृहा कालं प्रतीक्षं विमदो विमत्सरः
नामान्यनन्तस्य हतत्र पठन् गुह्यानि भद्राणि कृतानि
स्मरन्
रामं
रामं पर्यन्तं तुष्टमनः गतस्पृहा कालं प्रतिष्ठान् विमदो विमत्सरः
Thus I began chanting the holy name of the name and form of the Lord by repeated recitation, ignoring all the formalities of middle word. Such chanting and remembering of the transcendental pastimes of Lord are benedictory. Doing, I traveled all over that, fully satisfied, humble, and unenvious. So this is another. एतद्धि आतुरचित्तानां
एतद्य आतुरचित्तानां
मात्रा स्पर्शेच्छयामुः
मात्रा
मात्रा स्पर्शेच्छयामुः
मात्रा स्पर्शेच्छयामुः
एतद्धि आतुरचित्तानां मात्रा स्पर्शेच्छयामुः
एतद्धि आतुरचित्तानां
मात्रा
स्पर्शेच्छयामुः
एतद्य आतुरचित्तानां मात्रा
स्पर्शेच्छयामुः एतद्धि आतुरचित्तानां मात्रा स्पर्शेच्छयामुः
भवसिन्धुप्लवो दृष्टो
भवसिन्धुप्लवो दृष्टो
हरिचर्यानुवर्णनम्
हरिचर्यानुवर्णनम्
सिन्धुप्लवो दृष्टो हरिचर्यानुवर्णनम्
दृष्टो हरिचर्यानुवर्णनम् भवसिन्धुप्लवो दृष्टो हरिचर्यानुवर्णनम् भवसिन्धुप्लवो दृष्टो हरिचर्यानुवर्णनम्
एतद्धि आतुरचित्तानां मात्रा स्पर्शेच्छयामुः भवसिन्धुप्लवो दृष्टो हरिचर्यानुवर्णनम्
एतद्धि आतुरचित्तानां मात्रा स्पर्शेच्छयामुः भवसिन्धुप्लवो दृष्टो हरिचर्यानुवर्णनम् एतद्धि आतुरचित्तानां मन्त्राश्चयामुः भवसिन्धुप्लवो दृष्टो हरिचर्यानुवर्णनम् एतद्धि आतुरचित्तानां मन्त्रास्पर्शश्चयामुः भवसिन्धुप्लवो दृष्टो हरिचर्यानुवर्णनम्.
So only it is personally experienced by me that those who are always full of cares and anxieties due to desiring contact of the senses with their objects can cross the ocean of nations on a most suitable boat. The constant chanting of the transcendental activities of the personality of body. Only two shlokas for the sixth chapter. Seventh has, I think, four. We will do. This is very easy also. अनन्तोपशमं साक्षात् भक्ति योगमदोक्षजे
अनर्थोपशमं साक्षात्
भक्तियोगम् अधोक्षजे
अनर्थोपशमं साक्षात् भक्ति योगमदोक्षजे
अनर्थोपशमं साक्षात् भक्तियोगम् अधोक्षजे
अनर्थोपशमं साक्षात्
भक्तियोगम् अधोक्षजे अनर्थोपशमं साक्षात् भक्तियोगम् अधोक्षजे
लोकस्य जानतो विद्वांश्चक्रे सात्वत संहिता
लोकस्य
लोकस्य जानतो
विद्वांश्चक्रे
विद्वांश्चक्रे सात्वत संहिता
संहिताम् लोकस्य
जानतो
तो
विद्वांश्चक्रे
विद्वांश्चक्रे सत्ता
संहिता
लोकस्य
लोकस्य जानतो
विद्वांश्चक्रे
चक्रे
सत्तां
सत्त्व
संहिताम्
अनर्थोपशमं साक्षात् भक्तियोगमदोक्षजे लोकस्य जानतो विद्वांश्चक्रे सात्वत संहिता
अनर्थो
अनर्थोपसं
सममं साक्षात् भक्तियोगम् अधोक्षजे लोकस्य
लोकसं
जानतो विद्वांश्चक्रे सत्त्वतां संहिताम् अनर्थोपशमं साक्षात् भक्तियोगम् अधोक्षजे लोकस्य जानतो विद्वांश्चक्रे सात्वता संहिताम् अनर्थोपशमं
अनर्थोपशमं
साक्षात्
साक्षात्
भक्तियोगम् अधोक्षजे लोकस्य जानतो विद्वांश्चक्रे सात्वतां संहिताम्
You learned nicely. So the material miseries of living entity which are superfluous to him can be directly mitigated by the linking process of devotional service. But the mass of people do not know this, and therefore the learned whereas they compiled this Vedic literature, which is in relation to the supreme truth. So very simple. Anarthopasam sakshat. How anarthas can be going? Bhakti yoga dhammadokshaji. Lord is called adoksha. But lokas ajanata vidwan, people don't know. That's why Chakre Satat Samhitam. The Samhita is Bhagavad Samhita. That's why it is compiled by Vyasa Maharshi. So Chakra is come. Yasyam vai sruyamanayam Krishne Paramapurushe.
यस्यां वै श्रियमाणानां कृष्णे परमपुरुषे
Yasyam vai sruyamanayam
कृष्णाय
परमापुरुषे यस्यां वै श्रियमायाणां कृष्णे परमां पुरुषे यस्यां वै श्रूयमाणायां कृष्णे परमापुरुषे
Yasyam vai sruyamanayam Krishne Paramapurushe. Bhaktirutpadyate pumsam shoka moha bhayapaha. Bhaktirutpadyate
भक्तिरुत्पद्यते पुंसां शोकमोहभयापहः भक्ति उपद्यते पुंसां शोकमोहभयापहः भक्तिरुपद्यते पुंसां शोकमोहभयापहः
Bhaktirutpadyate pumsaha shoka moha bhayapaha.
भक्तिरुत्पद्यते पुंसां शोकमोहभयापहः भक्तिरुत्पद्यते पुंसां शोकमोहभयापहः
Yasyam vai sruyamanayam Krishne Paramapurushe. Bhaktirutpadyate pumsaha shoka moha bhayapaha.
यस्यां वै श्रूयमाणा कृष्णे परमपुरुषे भक्तिरुत्पद्यते पुंसः शोकमोहभयापहः यस्यां वै श्रूयमाणायां कृष्णे परमपुरुषे भक्तिरुत्पद्यते पुंसः शोकमोहभयापहः
Simply by giving, okay, one more time.
यस्यां वै श्रूयमाणायां कृष्णे परमपुरुषे भक्तिरुत्पद्यते पुंसः शोकमोहभयापहः
So this simply by giving oral reception to this Vedic literature, Yasyam vai Shruyamanaya and Krishna Param Purusha, the loving feeling for feeling for loving devotional service to the Lord Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhakti Rutpadyate, loving devotion. and sprouts up at once to extinguish the fire of shoka, moha, bhayapa, lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness. Next is, yeah, only one shloka, we'll do it. We'll complete 7. Atma munayo nirkranta pivurukrame.
आत्मा रामश्च मुनयो
निरगन्धापि
निद्रन्तापि विरुक्रमे आत्मा रामस्य
मुनयो
मुनयो
नirkrantapi virukrame.
विरुक्रमे आत्मा
Atma munayo
मुनयो
nirkrantapi
निर्ग्रन्थापि
विरुक्रमे
विरुक्रमे
Atma munayo nirkrantapi virukrame. Kurvantyahituki bhakti. One minute.
कुर्वन्ति
कुर्वन्ति अहैतुकीं भक्तिं कुर्वन्ति अहैतुकीं भक्तिं कुर्वन्ति
कुर्वन्त्यहेतुकिं भक्तिम्
Ittam bhuta guno harihi.
इत्थं
इत्थं
भूतः
भूतगुणो हरि
इत्थं भूतः गुणो हरिः
हरि
इत्थं भूतः गुणो हरिः
हरि
Kurvantyahitukim bhakti. Ittam bhuta guno harihi.
कुर्वन्ति
कुर्वन्ति अहैतुकीं भक्तिम् इत्थं भूतगुणो हरि कुर्वन्ति
कुर्वन्ति अहेतुकिं भक्तिम्
भक्तिं
इत्थं भूतो गुणो
भूतगुणो
हरिः
हरि
कुर्वन्ति अहेतुकिं भक्तिम् इत्थं भूतगुणो हरिः
Atmaramascha munayo nirkrantapi virukrame. Kurvantyahitukim bhakti. Ittam bhuta guno harihi.
आत्मा रामस्य मुनयो निरगन्धापि
निर्ग्रन्थापि
गुरुक्रमे
उरुक्रमे
कुर्वन्ति अहेतुकिं
अहैतुकीं
भक्तिम्
भक्तिम् इत्थं
इत्थं
भूतगुणो
भूतगुणो
हरि
हरिः आत्मा
आत्मा
रामश्च
रामश्च
मुनयो निरगन्धापि
ग्रन्थापि
गुरुक्रमे
उरुक्रमे
कुर्वन्ति अहेतुकिं
अहैतुकीं
भक्तिम्
भक्तिम् इत्थं
इत्थं भूतगुणो हरिः
आत्मा
आत्मा रामश्च मुनयो निर्गन्धापि
तापि
उरुक्रमे
उरुक्रमे
कुर्वन्ति
कुर्वन्ति
अहेतुकिं
अहैतुकीं
भक्तिम्
भक्तिम्
इत्थं
इत्थं
भूतगुणो
भूतगुणो
हरिः
हरि
Yeah. So this is a very famous shloka. Chaitanya Charitamrita, this conversation between Ramananda, sorry, Sanatana Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and with Swami Bhattacharya. All different varieties of Atma Ramas, those who take pleasure in Atma or spirit self, especially those established on the path of self-realization, though freed from all kinds of material bondage, desire to render unalloyed devotional service unto the personality of Godhead. This means that the Lord possesses transcendental qualities and therefore cannot attract everyone. Sorry, can attract everyone, including liberated souls. Any impetus for activity in this world is vasanas. These people, Atmaramas, they don't have vasanas. But still they are working for Supreme Lord because they are transcendent. So 18th chapter, no, many shlokas are there. Maybe it will take one full hour. So for 18th chapter, I think no, maybe two 2 hours it will take. So we will anyway for next 10 days I am not there. I am in Vrindavan. Please pray for me. I will go with proper consciousness and rider service in Vrindavan. And
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah.
We will have after I will come back on 8th, so after that whatever time we'll meet. So thank you all very much. Please give
Hare
your
Krishna
prayers
Prabhuji.
and blessings.
I want to ask,
Mataji.
when we are doing this shloka recitation, but during my work whole day, I used to remember it. But I also heard that the all essence is to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So I have to do work, and I can chant only one thing, or I can either I can chant Hare Krishna mantra, or I can remember this. So what will be helpful at my stage, beginning stage? Should
For
I
us,
try to remember? Yeah, or
we can work with because you are hearing everyday Bhagavatam. That means you are inclined to philosophy. It is good if you recite the shlokas and not just reciting shlokas with the meaning you are trying to understand. That will help you in your chanting. You will be able to do a quality chanting.
Yeah, but whole day we can chant now, like
Chant
doing
Mataji.
work
What
and
happens now?
chanting.
What happens
So
now?
I
Our
have
mind
to
needs
now.
absorption. So whichever makes you absorb, na, that is very important. I'm just giving. Absorption is very important. If you are absorbed in shloka or absorbed in holy name, whichever helps you getting more absorbed, that you do. If it is shlokas, no, you are able to get this shloka Krishna Parama Purushe. This is very nice point. So if you get some nice Yasyam Vaishruyamanayam Krishna Parama Purushe. So you are meditating on that shloka. More important is meditation. So both are connected to Krishna only. So after 9 processes, this is also one of the process. So in that way, both are helpful. Whichever makes you meditate on Krishna, get absorption, you can do it. This is not both ways you can attain perfection. So no problem.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Prabhuji.
Whichever helps. For some people, philosophy helps. For me, if I hear more and more philosophy, it I feel nice. I will chant, but if I give an option, I'll say I will want to hear more of these things than chanting like that. Okay, thank you all very much. I'll pray for all of you, and I'll pray to Srimati Radharani that you'll all visit Vrindavan very soon.